Welcome back, I should say, to our Monday Night Women's Call. My name is Lori Carlavaris from Barrie, Ontario, and I'm one of the co-hosts of the call tonight. We took a break for the summer and very excited to be back, and many of us on the line just came back from home office and Immunotech's barbecue and had a fantastic day and a fantastic training. And, fall's upon us, and it's really time to get back to routine. So without further ado, I'd like to get this call started.
Hi, Lori. I'm sorry. I'm in.
Okay, thanks, Sandy. Before I introduce our co-host, one of our co-hosts and our guest speaker, I just want to take a minute. There is some new people on the line tonight, so I just want to go over a couple of things. Many of you have heard the saying, "Let food be thy medicine," and I just want to kind of give a Reader's Digest version of what we're talking about here tonight. The word you're going to hear is glutathione. Many people have never heard of that. And what it is basically it's your body's master antioxidant. And, you wonder how important that is to you. It's so important that you're born with it in every single cell. So that's how much importance our Creator has given that. You're born with it. It's in every single cell. And what happens is that this glutathione, it depletes naturally as we age, but with everything else that happens in our life, from trauma to toxins to, stress, which probably everybody has in their life, aging just automatically, and the list goes on and on, but even exercise has proven to decrease your glutathione levels. And basically when that happens, your immune system is not working at 100%. It needs glutathione to work at 100%. And what our product does, which is the only one that is clinically proven to raise glutathione at the cellular level. So basically your immune system, your life depends on it. That's really just how important it is. And one thing I want to make clear that sometimes we take for granted, for those of you that are on the phone listening to this for the very first time, we're about to celebrate our 20th year with Immunotech in business, and yet the product Immunical has been started being developed and researched over 40 years ago. So product over 40 years and only to the market 20 years. So that's pretty incredible because most companies are, there first and then they find a product. But this was a research product that was done here at McGill University in Canada, which is our top university, and we're very, very proud to have that. So without further ado, I just want we've got a very, very strong story tonight that I'm very excited to share with you all. But I do want to make a disclaimer that this call is intended for training purposes only. This call is not to treat or cure any disease, but this is the personal testimonial of a gentleman that we're about to introduce. So my partner, Candace Paltridge from New York, take it away and start the call off.
No, thank you, Lori. It's nice to be back. And we do have a really special guest, George Tutine. I'm very proud to call him a friend. He was a friend of the family, a friend of my brother, and he's a joy to have because he's a true friend. He's a gentleman. He's a person that always has his hand out to give to somebody, and a smile on his face. So I had to say that about you, George. So, George, welcome to the call.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to the call. So I wanted to say those things about you because you are a dear friend, and they are true. You are a very generous, kind person, and I think that's probably a large part of your success as well. But let's go into who you are, where you're from, and your age. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself, George?
Yes, my name is George Tutine, and I live in White Plains, New York, which is a city about 30 miles from the heart of Manhattan. My age is 78, and I have 3 daughters, and I also worked at an international company, and I was part of the management team in the large data processing for computers.
Candace, we're losing George. We're breaking up.
I know we're losing George. We're losing you. You're breaking up for us. Let's see. Can you move to a different? You're on a landline, but it's a portable phone, right?
No, I'm on the, I got off of the phone, and I'm on the actual landline phone now.
Like right now, you're loud and clear. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're good, right? So here's what I do know for everybody. You're from White Plains, New York, from New York. You're a New Yorker, and you're a very young 78. So nobody would believe that, George. So we're going to talk about your health history because this story is the cancer that you had could have easily have taken your life. But we're not going to start from 9 years ago when you were diagnosed with kidney cancer for the second time. We're going to go back 30 years. What happened 30 years ago, George?
30 years ago, I experienced a weakness in my health from a standpoint of just feeling bad. And I went to several doctors, and they came up with this fatigue syndrome or mononucleosis, which I knew I didn't have, but they could not determine what I had. And as it deteriorated, or as I deteriorated, finally I went to see a doctor. He told me to go and take some tests in the hospital at a Monday morning. So I figured I'll go in early, and I would leave there and go to work. So they started testing me, and the doctor would come in and say, well, we got to take another test. An hour later, well, we got to take another test. So it got to be about 12 o'clock, and the doctor came in with a phone in his hand. He says, here, I have someone on the line for you. Well, it turned out to be my personal physician, and he said that they had already made provision to be admitted into the hospital. So now I'm in the hospital, and they made a diagnosis that I had kidney cancer. And my options were two. I could not have an operation and perhaps live 2 weeks, or have an operation that I probably had a 40% chance of surviving because of a blood issue. I will not be transfused. So I decided to have the operation. When I went into the hospital, I weighed approximately 260 pounds. When I came out of the hospital 30 days later, I weighed 170 pounds.
Mm.
And it took me really a year to recover from that. And I slept, I would say, 23 hours a day out of 24. And a year later, I returned to work. So that's the past history.
Well, that was 30 years ago, and you recovered. And for 30 years, you were cancer-free. But we're going to go back 9 years now, and tell us what happened 9 years ago.
Okay, 9 years ago, I couldn't urinate. And I didn't urinate for a whole week. I showed no ill signs from that condition. I had no fever. I did not feel bad. But something told me I better go to the hospital and find out what's wrong. So I went to the hospital, and they did some testing, and they were going to put me on dialysis. And they admitted me into the hospital. They brought the dialysis machine in and all of the things that went along with it. And they said that they would start that process like 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, about 5 o'clock in the morning, a doctor comes in and he says, we're not going to do that. We're going to perform a procedure on you. I signed the papers, and I went to the operating room, and they performed a procedure, and they put a stent in me, and they concluded that I had a kidney stone blockage. So they crushed the stone, which was a very, very painful thing, passing the crushed stone. Then they released me from the hospital, and they told me I should see my doctor, my urologist. I went to see my urologist, and this is the urologist that did the operation on me 30 years before. And he said, well, George, what happened, it just doesn't sound right. So he made a conference call to the people that attended me in the hospital, and he says, no, I'm not satisfied with that. You come back in 2 days, I want to do a procedure on you. So he did 3 procedures. At the end of the 3rd procedure, he told me that I had kidney cancer again. And it was beyond...
And this was not the same type of kidney cancer. This was a totally different type of cancer.
Right.
Right.
And he said it was
and you didn't have a kidney to lose. This was your remaining kidney.
This was my one and only remaining kidney. Okay? So he gave me the name of 3 doctors that he suggested that I get in contact with. One was in Sloan Kettering, the other was in Einstein Hospital, and the third was connected with Columbia University. So I proceeded to call, and I never got through. Couldn't get through to a doctor. Now, in the meantime, what happened was I started taking Immunical. And
well,
I took...
I think, George, may I just ask a question? I think that also you went, you found another doctor in Brooklyn. Was this before you started Immunical or after?
It was about the same time because I couldn't get in touch with any of these doctors. When I finally got in touch with one, he told, his nurse told me it would be about 3 to 4 months before I could see the doctor. And I said to her that I wouldn't need a doctor in 3 or 4 months. So she said, Mr. Dutin, you got to realize, everybody that this doctor sees is in the same situation that you are in, a life-threatening situation. And if we get a cancellation, I will call you. But the earliest he could see you is 3 to 4 months from now. The other 2 doctors I never could get in touch with. So what happened is I had a friend who directed me to a doctor in Brooklyn. And I called and I spoke to his secretary, and she said, look, I will let you come in, but you got to make a promise to me. I said, well, what's the promise? That if you come in and you sit here all day, and at the end of the day the doctor doesn't see you, that you will conduct yourself in a proper fashion and not cause any problems. I said, agreed. So they made the appointment. I went in. Within 15 minutes, the doctor saw me. The doctor, because when I went, I had all my x-rays and everything from White Plains Hospital with me.
And your scans and your tests.
Right. So I had all of that, and he looked at it, and he spent about 3.5 hours with me going over everything, and he said, look, this cancer is not the same cancer that you had 27 years earlier. He said it's a different cancer, but it is a cancer. It's in your kidney. So he, now, at that point, okay, I had started taking the Immunical. And I
think it was my brother and a couple of his friends who said, why not try this? Well, why did you take it? Well, George, I was going to ask you that. Why did you just say, okay, I'm going to take this product?
I took it because they offered it to me, and it was an alternative, and it sounded good, and I knew some other people who had good results, not along those lines, but in other aspects of their life. So I decided to take it. So I started taking it, and I started off with...
Which Immunical did you take, and how many?
I took 12 packs a day when I started, and it was over 3 weeks to a month that I took this, and I decreased it until I got down to 1 a day, okay? But now getting back to the doctor did his testing. He concluded that, yes, I did have cancer, and he was going to a professional conference in California. And he said, I'm going to take your case because you only have one, and we can't take that kidney, so we got to find some way of getting around your problem, okay? Now, in the interim, when he came back from that conference, of course, he had to do more tests. And when he did the test, he came in and he says, you know, I don't see any indication of any cancer anymore. And he said that doesn't mean you don't have cancer, but we got to do some more testing. And he came back and he says, well, I don't understand it, but there's no indication of you having cancer anymore. Now,
you know, George, you're the master. You're the master of understatement, because here it was, the only thing, if I remember correctly, he was going to try to put you in a case study because there wasn't really that much that was out there to help you. And your tests came back positive from the greatest cancer institutes, hospitals in the area, Sloan Kettering, Columbia, all the places that the test results were taken. And everyone confirmed that you had this very, very difficult cancer. And yet, from the time he did his research at how he could help you and came back, within 3 weeks to a month, he sent tests out again and there was no indication of cancer. That's an amazing story, George.
Yep. So,
yeah.
So that was 9 years ago. I'm sorry. That was 9 years ago. Okay. I survived that 5-year period. So I am cured of that incidence of cancer. And today I'm a healthy 78-year-old man with a positive attitude, and I'm cancer-free.
Thank you, George. It's a beautiful story. And I think if I just could review one thing, you went on the platinum, you went on 12 packs, you reduced it down from 12 to 10 to 11. And
right.
You remained on 1 pack a day after that. And you've been able to maintain your health with that. And not only was it 5 years, which medicine considers to be a cure, but you're nearly now 9 years, almost 10 years, cancer-free. And you also mentioned one little thing, George, was that there was one side effect from Immunical, and that had to do with your vision. What was the side effect with your vision?
The side effect to my vision improved. Not only that, as I was thinking, I had another benefit, where I used to have a constant runny nose, and that improved. So those are side benefits that I received from taking the Immunical. Now, I'd like to say one other thing. Okay?
Yes, please.
That one has to have a very positive outlook, because even when I speak to friends that have incidents of cancer, and I tell them that if you get down on yourself and lose control, it isn't going to help you. It's going to be devastating to you. But if you keep a positive attitude and control your situation by talking to and ask questions from the doctors, you have to remember that they work for you. You don't work for them.
Right. Right. Yes. Well, one thing I can say about you, George, is you're a very positive person. You're a spiritual man, and really, I think that you enjoy life, and I appreciate that about you. And I appreciate you coming onto our call and sharing it. I know you wanted to mention one other thing that I just put down in my notes is that you went to your doctor every month, and then every couple months he was very concerned about cancer being in other parts of your body, in your lungs, in other areas. And yet, all through this time, he never found one bit of cancer since that second incident.
No, he hasn't. During that period of time, I would go, every 2 or 3 months, and he would take chest X-rays, and he explained that if I had cancer in my body and it got away, that it would eventually show up in the lungs. So that's why they take all of these chest X-rays. And he did that for really up to 5 years. Of course, the time period, we got the third year, it was twice a year. The fourth and the fifth year, it was once a year. But they did take those chest x-rays.
Yes, thank you. So and he was concerned because I think it was, to him, it was what we call a Immunical miracle. We know what Immunical does. It provides the body what it needs, the tools it needs to get well. So, George, again, thank you for coming on. I've been wanting to have you on our call, and your testimonial is quite inspiring. So thank you again. So now we're going to turn the call back to my friends, Sandy and Lori, and I think they're going to share some of the things that were released, some of the information, some excitement from our barbecue.
Thank you, Candace, and thank you, George. That really is quite an amazing story. It gives me goosebumps, and you're very articulate in the way you share that with us. And I just want you to know that by you sharing that, you know, you could be saving somebody's life tonight and giving them some hope, and you know, they may be hearing your story and have more belief in things that they need to do. So thank you so much for that. So this portion of the call, the product and product story portion of the call is over, and we are just going to talk about a little bit of business for those of you that want to remain on the call. We're very excited. Candace, who is just speaking, and our other co-host, she's a platinum distributor, Sandy Walper. Are you with us?
I am, Lori.
Hi, Sandy. Thanks for joining.
Hey.
We all just came back from, along with other people on the line, from the Immunotech barbecue, which they have once a year, where people can, you know, get a chance to meet and greet and see the office and, you know, have some fun at the barbecue, followed by a training day the following day. And I don't know about you two. Well, I do know, actually, but I'm very, very excited about a couple of things. And, you know, they brought out some new tools, so I want you to make sure that you talk to the person that got you on this call and your upline as far as some of the new videos that are out and training tools that are coming. But the thing that's got me really excited is a skincare line, skincare and anti-aging. And it's going to be launched in around the convention time, which is next February. But why I wanted to talk about it tonight is as far as those of you that are on the phone that are consultants with this business, this is a, you know, we've had something for 20 years now, almost 20 years, that treat the inside of our body. And just like George was sharing, and, you know, for those that are new on the phone, we hear these stories over and over and over, and from all different areas of health challenges, or the other side, from prevention to athletes. And so, you know, we're really working on the inside. So now, Immunotech will be launching a phenomenal skincare anti-aging line where we now have the ability to also treat the outside. And there's many of us, you know, that have taken Immunical for a long time that have some great skin and, you know, soft skin. But it's really, you know, especially women, this is for men too, but women are probably more vain, and we worry about what we look like. We worry about those wrinkles and the crow's feet and the bags under the eyes and the sagging neck and all of the things that are happening as we start to age. So personally, I think it's really going to be a phenomenal opportunity and an easy opportunity for those that want to be able to take part in this industry. And it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, the skincare industry. So we can maybe go over a couple of points of difference. We're not going to get into some major training because it's 5 months away or 4 months away. But my thoughts are, at least personally, you know, I really want to look for some people who the aging, anti-aging on the outside and the skincare, you know, really excites, because I think this is a really phenomenal business opportunity for those that really want to run with an extra line. And this might be something easy that people aren't comfortable maybe talking about some of the other products, and this is a comfort level from them. But any input on that, Sandy? You've been around this industry for a long time.
Well, I do, Lori, and I know that they've been working like horrendously hard on the skincare line to get it right. I mean, our products in our company do take a long time to develop, and I mean, we met the dermatologist that was there. I mean, they're on the 10th formulation of the eye cream, and they want to get it right. And another thing, Lori, that you mentioned was about You know, who wants crow feet? Who wants to get old? I mean, people are spending lots of money on Botox, on this, on that nowadays. I mean, young people that are 18 years old are going for lip fillers, face fillers. I mean, and if we can start like with, you know, Immunical basically on the outside, and now we have Immunical on the inside, we have a whole beauty thing going on. But more importantly than that, Lori, is we've got an opportunity here now to start a buzzword about the skincare line coming, that it is going to be, you know, phenomenal. And we can sort of start firing up our networks a little bit by, you know, talking a little bit about the dermatologist, who he is, that he's on our medical advisory board now, and that he's world-renowned, and he's a full-time dermatologist as well. He has his own practice. And, I mean, I had an opportunity to talk to him, and he's very, very sincere about the product that he wants to put his name behind. So he's gone to great lengths to get this right. So I know it's taken a long time. But another thing, too, Lori, when we were in Montreal, and I know that there's a lot of people on the phone that never made it into Montreal and might not be going to the Palm Springs trip. The convention's coming up in February. I mean, these are all events that sort of rekindles the spirit of the Immunitech family. And I know when I went to Montreal, I didn't have a whole lot of people on my team that went there. But it was wonderful to walk in there and see all the old friends, like, you know, seeing Candace and her husband. I only ever see them on incentive trips and barbecues, but we really need to rekindle the spirit at Immunitech because we do have the greatest product on the planet. I mean, I've seen over the last 20 years, Lori, so many companies come and go, and so many people, you know, raving they've got the best this and the best that, and the best comp plan and the best of everything. But I'll tell you, when I joined Immunitech 20 years ago, my husband and I, we just wanted to be at a place where the science was real, the people were real, the company was real, and that they would pay us every month, and they have continued to do that. So I'm just going to tell you right now that just being at the barbecue, seeing the Mexican, Spanish people come up from Mexico, seeing all the old friends at the barbecue, the wonderful time we had, the dinner was amazing. We've really got to put our Immunitech hats on because the people on the call tonight, or especially Lori and Candace, and I don't know if other Candace is on, and some of our founders of the company, we really are the spirit of Immunitech. We set the foundation 18, 19 years ago, and we have to continue to do that because Immunical is a legacy. It's a legacy product of one that has 40 years of science on it. And the only way to get it is from Immunitech consultants. So we have to keep sharing the word, and we have to keep getting the word out there about the fabulous company, about what we're doing, about the new products that are coming, and support each other's groups no matter where you are in Canada, the United States. If there's meetings going on in those locations, we really need to get our new people out there. And I talked to Lori today, and we're going to try and do some things together that we can really get the spirit going again, and really sort of take the momentum back into Canada and the United States, and really start, you know, shouting from the rooftops that, you know, we got something here that's unique and it's different. And so something I want to tell everybody that's happening, on October the 10th, there is a meeting that's taking place in Vancouver at the Hilton Hotel. Now, this is going to be an extraordinary meeting. It's a regional event, and there hasn't been anything quite like it out west in 20 years. So if you know anybody that lives in British Columbia, or if you have a downline in British Columbia, you physically need to give them a phone call and not an email. You need to run downline reports. You need to see if anybody's in that area, and you need to get them to that meeting because Leslie Zahn is going to be there. David Marshall's going to be there. Charlie Orr is going to be there. Jimmy Gutman's going to be there. And also myself, I'm going to be there. And I'm missing one person, Lori. JP's going to be there. So this is going to be a Friday night dinner for anybody that was paid as silver in July, August, or September. So if you don't live in Vancouver and you're attending or in the BC region and you're attending the event, you need to get your name to Cynthia Lopez or David Marshall, because if you want to come to the dinner, we need to know who you are. And then Saturday is an action-packed day. Now, even if you can't make it, you can send guests there. So then we need to know who's coming so that I can meet them at the door. And this is going to be a wonderful event in Western Canada. And I'm really excited, Lori. I think that Immunotech ain't going anywhere, and I think that we've got an awesome company, awesome story, awesome people, and we got to get lit up here again. And I think that these women's calls are amazing, and I would like to help Lori, if anybody wants help with the business, that maybe we could incorporate some more business after the women's call on the Monday night. So if anybody wants extra training on the business aspect, I'd be happy to stay on the call after the call, and we could do some business training together. I think that's a must. So anyway, back to you, Lori.
Thank you, Sandy, and I think people would love that, so we can actually set that up and get the memo out and just really go back to basics again, go back to where we started and what we did 20 years ago. So
exactly.
I just want to touch base back on the skincare line again. Candace and our other co-host there and I were talking. You're still with us, right, Candace?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Because I just wanted to, I hope people can get as excited as I am, because, I mean, it's just an excellent opportunity for everybody, all of us, and those that really don't, have the interest in selling a health product, but they really love a skincare. So some of the things that are a point of difference, personally, so we met Dr. Ronald
Prusek
at the barbecue, and he's, I actually looked him up today. He was a fantastic speaker, but really a lot of credentials, and I know he was rated, #1 in the Washington, D.C. area, but, how important is that to people to have, somebody with his credentials really basically making our product for us?
And the thing, Lori, with Dr. Prusek, he's comfortable in both worlds. Comfortable in the field of teaching. He's a professor at a prestigious university outside of Washington. He also, he's a researcher. His medical background is superb, but he's very, very familiar and very happy to be working in the field of natural health modalities, which would include nutrition, exercise, supplementation. So he's comfortable. He flows in both worlds. And this product that he's developing, I'm really looking forward to it because it's going to be absolutely pure. It's going to meet the standards of the EWG, Skin Deep, which is the watchdog of basically environmental toxins and things that we eat or in cosmetics. And so many of these, rather than doing good for us, are actually altering our hormones. They're actually causing more damage than not putting anything on our skin. So I'm thrilled about that.
Exactly. And when Candace mentioned EWG, and that's, as she said, is the watchdog, so which stands for Environmental Working Group. But that you can actually go online. Candace and I were online today, and they have ratings for all the products, like all the ingredients in a product, and 0 to 2 is basically no risk at all, and then you've got a small, moderate risk, and then you've got the 7 and above was high risk of toxins, etc. You can plug in products. I'm not going to name names here, but you can plug in products from other companies, from retail stores, and it's really quite shocking to see what some of these ratings are. I happen to be on one of the boards with this skincare, and will be part of a test trial, et cetera. So I'm on the conference calls and whatnot, and I will share with you that, I don't know if there's going to be any changes, but most of our ingredients come in at a 0 to 1. There's nothing in the high levels, where some of the brand names that are in all the high-end department stores are, have many of those high levels. So we can be very, very proud, just like Immunical, when this does come to fruition for us. Fantastic. And Candace had said something today. It's basically, some of the products are instant results. So it's kind of like getting a natural facelift. And just that word alone, a natural facelift, is enough to spark probably any woman out there. that we'll try this product. So that's what we've got coming down, and we're really looking for people to partner with, to get excited about that. And in the meantime, let's not wait for that, because we just heard George talk. And George is not a story. We do these calls all the time. We've been here 18 to 20 years, many of us on the phone, or at least some of us on the phone. We have stories like that every day. And that's how powerful this product is. And so when you understand what it does, we've got something in our hands that really deserves our attention, and it deserves the attention of people that don't know about us yet. And out of that, this is a great way for those of you that want to, turn this into a business opportunity for yourself. It could just be to get your product for free. It could be to earn a little bit of extra money, or it could be to change your life. But what a powerful way to do it. How do you think Candace feels when those results happen to George? Well, there's a lot of Georges out there that are looking for us. So having said that, thank you, Candace. Thank you, George. Thank you, Sandy. We will have this call again 2 weeks from tonight. I'll send out a memo. Candace and the others will be hosting it, as I'm going to be in Italy enjoying a wonderful vacation with my husband and my daughter and son-in-law. And have a great night, everybody, and we'll send out memos before I leave about the next call, but it will be 2 weeks from tonight, same time, same number, same code. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Lori.
Good night,
have a wonderful vacation. And thank you, Sandy and George.
Okay, thanks. Good night.
Good night.